Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Maria Gonçalves podcast. And today I have a very special guest. Her name is Karin. I'm so excited you are here. And just so a little bit about her, Karin is an animal communicator, certified crystal energy and angel guide, oracle reader, Reiki healer for both humans and animals. I love how you wrote that because animals are just as important as us humans. And since 2019, Karin is a certified practitioner of Kyle Gray and has worked for him as a mentor teacher in 2021 and 2022. In 2020, Karin created a popular animal communication course that she offers in English and German. She shares her intuitive guidance in one-on-one sessions with her mission to help others stepping into their power and overcoming challenges within their lives. Karin is a sensitive, patient, and compassionate guide who loves to provide a safe and intimate space for her clients, teaching them to access their own intuitive powers and psychic powers. And she's also a shamanic practitioner. Well, that was a lot, but I love that was a lot because that's just the way we're wired, right? To learn a lot of things. But I had this conversation the other day. Like, we learn all of this stuff, but it's all transferable skills. There's like a bigger picture, right? As we're building the foundation, becoming the angel communicator, then becoming the animal communicator, and then with a shamanic it's all building blocks to this greater thing that makes you so unique. So do you want to share with our listeners a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so first of all, thank you so much for this invitation. It's so great to see you and to chat with you. And now that you were reading my bio, I was just realizing, or I was remembering that some years ago, or when I started to step into this full time, into self-employment, that I was told to focus on three things, to choose three things, I want to work with, like my main focus. And I realized I can't, because there are so many things I love to do. There are so many things, that like merge together, when I'm doing like a Reiki treatment. I can do it also with my crystals and my shaman drum. And I don't want to limit myself with all the things, I actually love to do. So I was born in Vienna, Austria, over here in Europe. On a beautiful summer morning, I was growing up with two older brothers and our family dog, Ophelia. And I think the foundation for what I'm doing today was already in my family, because we were always these kind of people who, were dealing with this mystic stuff, trying to connect to spirit. And my first presentation at school was about the Bermuda Triangle. And my mom
Oh,
was collecting
wow.
crystals since very, very early on. And I was just, I grew up with the knowing that there's so much more than meets the eye. And I think this, and the angels, of course, the connection to the angels. My mom borrowed me a book in the 90s, and it was clear, there was never a doubt that we are not alone, and that there is so much support from spirit. Yeah, and
Oh, I
back
love
in
that.
2017, I met beautiful Maria
Yes, we met in
in the angel tribe of Kyle Gray.
yeah. I
We were
was
just
actually
thinking.
Yes, I actually that year I was looking for a meditation group and I couldn't find one. And then an advertisement for Kyle's Gray's angel meditation online came across, and I thought, oh my goodness, I have to join. And what we were talking earlier off screen is we have stayed connected with a lot of the
Yeah,
original Angel Tribe members. It's like
yeah,
we have our own little family and we check in with each other and how are you
yeah.
doing and what are you up to? And they're from all around the world, which I love because you learn about everybody and celebrating, weddings and births of new babies and their children's birthdays and how they're moving in their career. Like, it's so exciting that many of us have stayed connected. And then you have a
Yeah.
Facebook group where you keep us all connected too, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. It was originally it started as the Raise Your Vibration group.
Yes.
according to the based on the book of Kyle Gray, Raise Your Vibration, where we used to do this. Maybe I will start again in January, this daily spiritual practice for 111 days. And that's where I started. And now I renamed it to Rock Angel Community. So it's really this, like you say, we stayed connected. It's like we are soul family, you know? It's this,
Yes.
like we are like magnets for each other. We became like magnets for each other. Now, you know, the right souls are gathering together and walking this path together. And it's so much more fun, you know.
It is so much more fun. And then you do lives on the mountain, correct? With
My
Oracle
mountain life.
card. Yeah. Can you share
Yes.
with our listeners what that is and when you do
Yeah.
that?
Yeah. So I used to do it every week. I always had to see, you know, also depending on the weather, but I got really a warrior. Now, no matter the weather, we always find a way to do it. I always have my friend Kim Bowman with me. She's also from the
Angel Tribe. Yes.
first year 2017.
Yes.
Yes, exactly. So I have my shamanic drum with me and my oracle cards. We always start with a little either meditation or the Ganesh mantra. Ganesh is one of my spiritual running buddies, and there's this mantra. Then I join with the shaman drum. And then I offer oracle card readings. I always have 2 or 3 decks, and the listeners, they can ask for a general guidance. They can choose which deck they want to get a reading from. And then if they have a particular question, you know, a topic in their life, they need to clarify, they need to know the next step, or they need to make a decision, whatever is currently going on in their life. And then I do the readings, short readings, well, short. Well, not so short. That's why sometimes it takes 2 hours. You know, these mountain lives is for 2 hours, but it's beautiful. It's on the mountain here beside Vienna, and you see the city lights in the background, but it's calm up there. You know, sometimes there is a deer running by, passing by, or a hare, and it's beautiful atmosphere and beautiful energy up there.
Yes. So I'm curious, why did you get into spirituality? Like, do you feel spirit when you were younger, or like, how did you get drawn into this work? Because there's always a story, a behind the scenes story.
I remember that, or I realized that in many cases, you know, there has been like a big challenge in somebody's life, you know, like a illness or a loss. In my case, it was really, actually, I think I grew up like this. I think it was always natural for me. And in the 90s, my mom took me to a workshop, me and my brother, which was called Dynamic Mind Power. It was not really a workshop connected to spirituality, but it was connected to our inner power, you know, how we can manifest our lives, how our subconsciousness works, you know, how to do visualizations and affirmations. And this is where I opened up even more, you know. And then also this book I received from my mom about angels. It was just always, I knew we were not alone. And I knew there were energies around us, but I also have to admit that there was a time I was scared, you know, when things happened at home, you know, objects moved, or I could not cope with it really, because I was also a lot into horror movies as a teenager. And so I was actually always scared. And then I had a bunny. I had 2 bunnies, and one got poorly, one got really ill. And it's when I went to this bookstore, New Age bookstore, and asked for a book where I can learn how to heal animals with my hands. And the girl in the bookstore said to me, "Why don't you just learn Reiki?" And then I started. And with the Reiki initiation in 23, was it 2003? Of course, the connection to the angels got deeper. I started working with Archangel Michael, and this fear was replaced by this love, actually, for it was not unknown anymore, you know, for the angels and for this connection. And then my grandmother, it was in 2016 that she started sending me signs via goosebumps on my left thigh. It just turned out later on that it was her. I thought it was an angel or an animal that has passed away. And then I had my a one-on-one session with Kyle Gray, in 2017, and suddenly he started speaking about my grandmother, and he said, do you know that she's here? And he started describing her, and in the moment he spoke about her, the goosebumps started again. And then I said, oh, she was it. At the complete time, it was my grandmother trying to connect with me and speaking to me. And then it was clear. And that's when it got really like a normal thing, a natural thing in my life. And now when things happen here at home, I just say hi, welcome to my home.
I love that. I love how you said that you were scared, because I feel like we're all scared because we don't understand what's going on until we figure out what it is, and that the fear got replaced with love.
Yeah.
It's love and trusting that you're safe and nothing scary. And then it just reminded me of myself, like when I became a medium. Before, I could watch the ghost movies. I could watch all these because I didn't have those experiences, and some of the scary movies. And I didn't have any of those experiences. And then after I hurt my back when I was 30 years old, all of a sudden I could hear spirit. I couldn't watch any more paranormal movies. I couldn't watch scary. I was like, oh my goodness, those things come to me. Like maybe they were in readings or stuff like that, because then I knew it was real, that loved ones had experiences, some of those experiences. So I am the most, like, I won't go into the haunted houses. I'm terrified. And my friends will laugh at me and be like, why are you so scared? It's just a haunted house. I was like, nope. Which I think is funny.
Yeah. Do you know that it was actually only with Kyle Gray that my awareness changed? Because until 2017, I was really thinking there are like bad negative energies around us, you know, like my mom had some terrifying ghosts at her home who really teased her. And I realized that as long as I was scared of it, as long as I believed that there was some negative entities around us, we would experience it that way. And in the moment I realized, you know, according to A Course in Miracles, only love is real. Everything else is an illusion. And that's suddenly I had this deep inner knowing that only love is real.
I will say, I still won't go to haunted houses. Friends that are like, oh, let's go buy tickets to the creepy. Still, no, thank you. That's not my thing. I don't like haunted. I don't like going in something that's dark and everybody's in there and everybody's got the fear and like, yes, we are safe, but I still don't like haunted houses. I won't go in one. Who knows? Maybe in 20 years I will.
I just wanted to say, maybe one day.
I've never liked them as a kid. And I don't know that I'm not the one that will go like, oh, let's go to this haunted house and pay money to be scared, to have things jump out and stuff like that. And I was like, no,
you mean
I don't,
this?
You know, and they have that stuff at the carnival, like the little spooky things too.
This you mean.
I don't go in those things either. Okay. Spirit comes around us, and yes, we are absolutely safe. I remember years ago talking to a girl. I can't remember what she did, but we were talking about language, and we were talking about words. And I was like, and we're having this deep conversation. And then all of a sudden she's like, you know, people get scared of the word spells, like it's a spell. And she goes, but spells over the years have turned into affirmations. So she's like, the oldest spell in the world is happy birthday. You light a candle, you set an intention, and you say an affirmation, happy birthday. And you put, and I thought, oh, because she took all the fear out of the word spell. Like as we were talking, I was like, oh, I never even thought of that. So a lot is perception and how to shift your mindset to get rid of the fear, like you just said, because that's super important, right? Because you don't know what you don't know until someone shares a piece of their life, their story, and all of a sudden you go, oh, I never saw it that way. And then all the fear melts away. And I love that.
It's so interesting regarding the power of words. Do you know this Japanese guy, Emoto, I think?
Yeah.
Emoto, who was doing these tests with the water crystals, this special photography of the water crystals and how they change their shape according to what their, what influence they receive, like which thoughts, which music, like with classical music, they form beautiful patterns. With rock or heavy metal, they get ugly, For me, it is very, very clear that this is not the influence of the song or the word. It's the influence of the human that is doing these tests. Because you mentioned the word spell. Take the word hell, Hell. Of course, if
Yeah.
someone who's native English, he would have a negative association to the word hell. So if you would say the word hell, the water crystals would most probably not have a nice pattern, a nice shape. But if a
Yeah.
German speaking would do the same test with the word hell, Hell, in
Yeah.
German it means light, bright.
Oh,
The water
wow.
crystals would shape a beautiful pattern. So it's always us humans giving something. The energy is here, but we give it the frequency, we give it the quality. The word, it's neutral, everything
Yeah.
is neutral, but we to give the objects, the words, whatever, we give the quality, we change the quality connected to how we feel about it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. You're so right, because it's just a word. It's just a bunch of letters
Four
stringed
letters.
together. But depending on your culture and the language,
And the
that
feeling you
word,
have.
yes, that word means different things in different cultures. And then it's the intention, the feeling we put behind the word that gives it power.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. That's so
Yes.
beautiful. I didn't know that. That's kind of cool. We learned something new today. I like that. So I wanted to talk about animal communication,
Yay.
because that's your thing, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So if you could share
Absolutely.
with the listeners and the viewers, what is that and how does that work for you?
Yeah. So animal communication is, I'm doing the telepathic animal communication, is perceiving the animal's feelings, needs, information via your clairsenses, like the clairvoyance, the clairaudience, sentience, and cognizance. You can telepathically communicate with an animal. And the funny thing is that when we are born, we are all equipped with this. Babies are born with their telepathic connection, with their channel, and with all the clear senses fully developed. Babies can already communicate with their mom when they are still in the womb.
Yes.
But then with time, it can be, depending on our environment, it can happen that this sense falls asleep or even is blocked, like if we have this imaginary friend, like, when children have imaginary friends, they are not imaginary friends, they are just spirits, or, they really perceive something. But if you are having parents, for example, who say, stop doing this, it's embarrassing, or you perceive something that was frightening you as a baby, as a child, you can block this, So that obviously never happened to me. I was always perceiving nature, like animals, even plants, trees. I could always feel how they felt. That's why it was always hurting me when someone was killing plants. I say killing because maybe it sounds exaggerated, but if someone hurts plants, it's hurting me. And even worse with animals. And for me, it was natural, the most natural thing, to feel what they feel, to understand what they feel. But then when I grew older and I realized not everybody can do this, I felt weird a little bit. And that's also, I felt like I was different and not really okay. And then I started hiding it. Also trying to disconnect myself, from this, because I thought I was weird. It was not okay. Until then, later on, I met people who experienced the same, and then I allowed myself to feel this again and to be in the connection and to receive and perceive everything. So the animals can read us, our pets can read us already like open books. They feel how we feel. When we need to go to the vet, I had my two bunnies. They were in their room. When we returned home, we opened the door. They were greeting us. Not on the days where I knew I needed to go to the vet. They were hiding. So they were feeling what I felt the complete day. They feel our energy. Often, when you do dog coaching, I used to work as a dog coach. you work with the humans, not with the animals. You don't work with the dogs. You need to make the dog owner aware of the fact that his energy is what the dog is responding to. And in the animal communication, we also learn to open the path of the other way. Not only that the animal reads us, or the pets can read us, but also that we can read the pet, so that it becomes a two-way street. And we can really then literally drift into a communication. So when I'm doing my animal communications, I'm writing a protocol which is like up to 10 pages, and it's a chat, like you're chatting with a human. This is what I'm teaching since 2020, because I feel it's so important that animals are understood.
I agree. And then remembering animals have a soul, like we have a soul.
Yes.
And the part you said about the dog vet, like taking your dogs to the vet, for my dogs, they love car rides. They're like, oh my goodness, car rides. So they'll go to the car rides. I have two little dogs. And then I go on the highway, and then the highway splits. So if I go left on the highway and I'm already in the lane, I haven't even turned left, but I'm in the lane that's going to go left, that we're going to go to a different city. They start to freak out and cry in the car. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I haven't even turned. But just because we're on the highway and they already know which lane I'm going, if I go right, they're happy because they know we're going to go downtown.
Nice.
We're going to go to the lake. We're going to go to a different city. Got two dogs and two rescues too. I had a cat and a dog, and they were best friends. So you'll hear people say, dogs and cats don't get along. Mine were, I got them both at the SPCA here in Ontario. It's the shelter for animals that people, when they don't want their animals. So I went there and got a dog and a cat. They were best friends.
Yeah.
Best friends, which I loved. I loved watching them together and sleeping together and doing everything together. And if I walk the dog, the cat be like, well, where are you taking my best friend?
Oh.
So
I see this so often, cats and dogs nowadays. It's beautiful.
Yeah. And it's like, it is the most beautiful thing. And then remembering that our animals have souls.
Yeah.
Because I find, like, when I do mediumship readings, many times people that are like in love with their pets, like myself, and I've had readings where people will come in and they don't want to hear from their grandmother and grandfather. And the first person, the first soul that comes through is their dog or their cat or their bird or their horse. And it's usually one of their pets that they just had to put down. And they were so heartbroken. They're so devastated. And that reading provides so much healing. So remembering that our animals have a soul, and yes, you can communicate them, and you just look into their eyes and you know, are they sick, or are they going to have a good day? Do they want to play? And they're loyal. Like we can be having the worst. I know when I'm sick, my dogs sleep in my bed. Like they follow me around the house. When I'm not sick, they go off and sleep in their little couches and their benches, and they're out playing. But if I'm not feeling well or I have the flu, both the dogs are in my bed and they won't leave me. And if I'm there for 5 days, it's 5 days they stay in that bed beside me and they never leave. So our animals, they take care of us just like we take care of them.
Yeah. I was gifted with a book from one of our colleagues from the Angel Tribe, Kathy. I don't know. I'm not sure about the surname, the second name. She sent me a book from the United States called "Animals as Our Teachers and Healers." You know, and this is really not only our healers. You know, like cats would place themselves on the spot where you have the pain, and dogs come to comfort you when you are sad. You know, when I clean my nose and I have a dog here, immediately, you know, she's coming or he's coming, looking like, what can I do for you? And lick my face, you know, no, I'm just cleaning my nose. The animal communication on soul level, you know, like you said, I feel is one of the most important parts of animal communication, because it's like an unwritten law. I don't understand it, but each pet owner, when she loses a pet, feels guilty. At some point, you know, has not done enough, has done something wrong, was too harsh, was waiting too long, was too quick, you know, to release a pet. And that's when they can really find peace, you know, when the pet can speak, you know, can say, no, on soul level. Everything was okay. I never heard a pet complaining from soul level saying that,
Yes.
oh, it was too early and why did you let me suffer so long and things like this, or no, you were not a good owner. Because on soul level, you just experience love. The ego has no
Yeah.
role anymore. There is no ego anymore. You just experience love, and it brings so much healing and peace for the pet owners when they have
Yeah.
lost a pet and when they then can communicate with the pet. It's the third and last part of the animal communication course,
Mhm.
the communications on soul level,
Oh
because
my
it's so
goodness.
important. Also with animals still alive, still incarnated here, you
Yeah.
can communicate on soul level, because when you want to know the soul contract, for example, or
Yes.
did we have an incarnation before, or will you come back and incarnate again, so, or even if you want to speak about mirror, what are you mirroring me? What is the mirror, the dog is showing to the owner? These are things you can also communicate on soul level with pets still incarnated. And this is very helpful.
That is, I just, oh my goodness, that was beautiful. I have tears. Oh my goodness. So
Oh.
I had to put my dog down, Simba. He's a little redhead. He was 9 or 10 because we got him at the shelter.
Mm-hmm.
He was so sick, and I had to make the decision to put him down. But the guilt, because you talk about the guilt, it's like, oh, it's brutal. And people don't realize, like, our dogs are like one of our children. They're
Yes.
family. Like, I dress my, we have our holiday outfits. I don't know if they do that in Austria, but here in my family, they just got a new Christmas outfit. They have their Easter outfit. They have their summer outfits. I dress my dogs. They have their winter coats, their raincoats. Like, they have a beautiful
Yes.
wardrobe. I'll just
You
say
can
that,
also see this here.
which is beautiful. But I love that you talked about the guilt that we feel as pet owners, because we want them to live forever, and to make that decision, and then knowing there's that soul contract, and it was their time to go,
Mm-hmm.
and they chose us to be a part of their life. I can only speak from my experience, right? And because I adopted sheltered dogs and a cat, they chose you to be a part of the end of their life. They had an owner, and that
Yes.
owner was there for whatever reason and could no longer take care of them, whatever that is. And their soul chose you to be like, well, you get to make those final decisions. And then
Mm-hmm.
realizing, because I think for me, I really struggled, even though in my head I knew, in my heart I was just heartbroken. It was like, oh, it's my baby. It's my
Yeah.
baby. I had him since he was 2, and now he's 10, and he's so sick, and I have to put him down. And you know what's interesting? You said our pets mirror us. I found that Simba that I had to put away at that time, I had a lot of health issues, like with my pancreas.
Mm-hmm.
So did my dog. And then I
Mm-hmm.
remember the vet saying, your dog will mirror your health issues. And I was like,
Yes.
really? And
Yeah.
I'm noticing that with my pets, or they pick up your personality. Like, I think my little black dog, Chloe, she's scared of her own shadow. And I was like, I remember being scared of my own shadow. And then it's interesting
Yes.
because people be like, oh, was she abused your dog? Why is your dog so afraid? And I'm like, well, I got that particular dog when she was 8 weeks old or 6 weeks
Mm-hmm.
old. I can't remember. Like, it was a litter, right? So we purchased her. She was not a shelter dog. We purchased her, and I'm just like, it's just her personality. So I think it's important people remember dogs have personalities too.
Yes.
Dogs get scared, and sometimes
Yeah.
they're just timid and shy dogs.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
I remember I had, these mirrors in animal communication, or in also in the dog coaching, is a very sensitive topic. You really have to be very sensitive how to deliver this to the pet owner. And I remember I had an animal communication. I had to do an animal communication for a lady from the United States some years ago. And the topic was her cat was very frightened of everything, and they had to move to a new place, and they had to prepare this cat of this new environment. And there was a little lake, and it had to be careful not to drop into the lake, and all these things. And I connected to the animal to the cat, and immediately he switched to soul level, which you feel it's a different energy, and started speaking about his pet owner, the lady. And then I realized it was important that to let him speak or continue this communication on soul level. And he was speaking about her fears, about her life, about her way to see the world. And of course, when I sent the communication, the pet owner was not delighted. She was polite. She sent back a response saying, "This does not sound at all like my cat, but thank you anyway for your communication." And I was just, in this case, this is what I'm telling my students. You can only rely and trust that the understanding, the awareness will come in time. It will come. And really, like 8 months later, she texted me again, and she said, "Oh, Karin, now I got it. He was a mirror for me, and now I started working on my issues, and now he also changed, and he's not so fearful anymore." We can only rely that, the words are here, and maybe one day they will open up and understand.
Oh, that is so true. You'll have to do an animal communication for my little doggie. But she's gotten better because she used to be so terrified. She's scared of other dogs. She only likes Romeo, which is her brother, the two dogs that I own. But all the other dogs, she's terrified of them. I tried to take her to a dog park and she hid between my legs. And I was like, "Where's Romeo?" He's more, hence his name, Romeo. He just loves everybody. So he's playing with all the little doggies, and Chloe's just like trying to get into my lap. And then she wants me to hold her and hug her. And at some point I thought, it's interesting because I had a cat that passed away, Lucky. And sometimes I look at my dog and I'm like, Chloe, and I'm like, she acts so much like our cat. Yes, she's a little doggy, but she has a lot of cat behaviors. And I would joke around with my family. I'm like, I feel like this little doggy is a reincarnation of our cat that passed away.
Would it be possible?
Oh, I think so.
Time-wise?
Because our cat had already passed away. And then
before the doggy was born.
And then the dog I got a year later. A year later, 6 months to a year later. And every once in a while, I'm like, when the dog would do stuff, when Chloe would do stuff, I'd be like, she reminds me so much of Lucky. And then it became like this thing in my family where we're like, I wouldn't be surprised if Lucky came back reincarnated as the dog right now. So like, I don't know anything. Disclaimer here. I know nothing about reincarnation and pets. It's just a feeling I have because she acts so much like a cat. It's like, I have a dog that acts like a cat and we love her.
It's part of my animal communication course. In the very last module, we communicate with pets on heaven. It's beautiful that, yes, pets can come again. Pets can come in other shapes and forms into our lives, the souls.
And I think it's important to remind our listeners, that's part of that pet's soul journey to come and help you within your life, because people learn to heal pets. Pets heal us. Pets hold space for us to cry or be sick, for us to heal. They're loyal. They're always loving us. And I think it's so important. That's probably why, if I didn't live in the city, I would buy a farm and I'd probably own 100 cats and 100 dogs, maybe a horse and some goats. Like, seriously, I would have. I just don't want to move to the country because that sounds like a lot of work. But I would be the one that owned the 100 dogs inside the city.
Yes. It's a paradise. Yeah.
It is, because they are so
for me.
Loyal. So before we finish, because I love talking to you, and there's just so much knowledge that you have, and you're such a gifted soul, and you walk with this bright, bright light. And for our listeners, just a reminder again, I met Karin in 2017 through Kyle Gray, through an angel course, and we learned to connect with angels and to meditate. And I have stayed connected with a core group of our Angel Tribe members, which are amazing, where we check in on each other, which I absolutely love. So can you share with people, what are you up to? So if people want to connect with you, and I do highly, highly recommend that people reach out to you, especially people wanting to learn to connect with their animals or for readings or oracle card readings. What do you have coming up for 2024? Oh my goodness.
2024. Oh my
That's
God.
only in a couple, that's in 2
We
weeks.
just started 2023, didn't we?
Yes. So share with our listeners, what are you up to?
So in January 21, starting the next English animal communication course, which runs for half a year. And it's in 3 modules, the basic, the advanced, and the special module. Special module is the one where we train to communicate on soul level. I also have now 3 different versions of the course where because many of my former courses asked me regarding business coaching. So I have now also included a version where you can receive a business coaching, because all the things I was going through now the last years, I would love to help others to speed a little bit the process of, getting with Zoom, with your calendar system or whatever, how to register your business, website, and so on. This is for half a year. And in July, I will start my healing for animals. So it's actually a complete year, but you can also book only the animal communication course from January to June, or including the healing for animals. It's including Reiki, of course, crystal, energy for pets, acupuncture massage, working with the chakras, also inner child, karmic. This is all part of the karmic release. This is all part of this half-year formation. We just ended the German one now, 1 week ago, and it's pretty intense. I'm not doing pre-recorded videos. I'm always doing it live, 90 minutes on Zoom every 2 weeks. So what I have new now is a Meet Me. It's a free 30-minute Zoom chat where you can get to know me. So in case you're interested in the course, but you don't know me, because it's always so important to like your teacher, to vibrate on the same level, more or less. So in these 30 minutes, you can ask me everything regarding the course, regarding me, my journey, and see if you like me as your teacher or not. So this is for the courses, but I'm also offering heart-to-heart sessions on Zoom, 60 or 90 minutes, and then we can do angel card readings. I'm doing shamanic drum journeys, also past life regression, I think it's called. So really seeing when you have a blockage, when you have a topic, a pattern, is it in a child healing you need to look at, or is it a past life thing, you are now ready to release. And actually it's always, people don't need to tell me before what they want to do. We always flow through this, it's so exciting for me also. They start to speak, we start to connect, and then we see where we move. Often we start with angel card readings to get more clearly the information where we can work on, and then we start the work. Did I miss something? So these are my 2. Of course, I'm doing the animal communications. I'm also doing baby whispering. It's exactly the same like animal communication with young humans who can't communicate yet. I can do this on a telepathic level, the baby whispering.
Oh, I love that. That's beautiful. So I will have those details for people within the show notes. So it will be there on the podcast, and follow us on YouTube. And then do you have a website? Like, how can people reach out to you?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I have my www.angel-touch.at.
Okay.
And I'm also on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, I have a YouTube channel, but there are also some interviews about animal communication and other topics.
That is fantastic. And I will share the show notes too with everybody, with all of Karin's details. And I just want to say thank you so much, Karin, for being here. I know with the different time zones, like here in Toronto, Canada, is a little bit early in the morning, and is it afternoon or late afternoon for you?
It's a 1:15 p.m.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So here
And
it is 7 a.m.
Yeah, it's unbelievable, really.
I love it.
You have your eyes completely open. I'm
Yes.
astonished.
I'm
You're
a morning person, and it's so fascinating to do interviews and the time zones. It's like, what country are you in? And when can I give you an interview when you're awake? I love sharing all of my guests with the world because I feel like they have such an important message to share with the world. And if I can help just one person listen and hear about you and learn, or with what we learned today and what we talked about, like releasing the guilt of putting an animal down, realizing they have a soul just like us, that they're mirroring us and they're taking care of us, and their soul is so intertwined within our own lives. I think we've done our job, right, Karin? So I highly recommend you guys go check out Karin's website, and I will put the information below. Follow her on social media. Get to know her and get to know your pets, most importantly, because that is a soul contract, a relationship for life, and that is unconditional love. So thank you so much for being with me today.
Thank you so much, Maria. Thank you so much.
Thank you.